You've reviewed what blended learning is from our educational technology department, and you've looked at the remote learning frameworks from elementary math. So what does blended learning for elementary math look like in our brick and mortar classrooms? It means integrating technology. One of the easiest ways that we're going to be able to integrate technology is to set up a Google Classroom. A Google Classroom is very easy to set up. You would go into your Google Drive or Google Classroom, into the waffle. And if you don't have any, if you have some, they've all populated. And if you don't have one, you would just click the plus sign and you either join a class or create a class. And you've created a classroom. It's that easy. Once you're in a Google Classroom, there's lots of things you can do. You can ask a question. So you can have a daily critical thinking question that your students can respond to, or if they have questions, they can ask it to you or your entire classroom and can respond openly. You could create classwork. So if I wanted to create an assignment, I can create one right here inside the classroom, or if I already had one picked out and inside my Google Drive, and I'm just going to pick some random assignment. I'm just going to pick some random assignment. And right here it says students can view file, means they could just look at it, can't make any changes. Students can edit file. That means all of your entire class or anybody you've assigned this assignment to can edit it at once or make a copy for each student. It's just what it sounds. It's like taking it over to the copy machine and spreading it out. Give them some directions. If I want every student to have it, or if I just wanted a small group, so in here, I would select the students that are in my class and I can assign them specifically what they want. I could give them a due date so they know when it's done, and all I have to do is click assign. So now I have assignment. I'm going to do one more just because I want to have two things to show you. Practice 2. I could add a file or a link or anything, a YouTube video, or I could create something right here. Let me do a drawing. What is a triangle? Very quickly draw a triangle. So now I have my, as soon as it's done saving, make sure my share settings are correct. It's always important when you're sharing documents through a Google Classroom is that you have your sharing settings right. So anybody who is in this class is also an editor, which is the one nice thing about creating it just in your class. Now I have this, and I want to make a copy for each student. And it is there, even though it has not updated my title yet. It looks correct, so I'm going to hit assign. So I could sit here and insert links or insert videos. There's a YouTube video, a Discovery streaming video I want them to watch, an activity, a game I want them to do. Um, Since you're doing triangles. One more thing. It's an assignment.
Monster Math presents Addition Below 10. Okay, class, let's begin. What is 5 plus 3? We can solve the problem by count.
Now I have this in here. I'm going to assign them a video to watch. So everything's done, but it'll be a really long list for your students to navigate. Makes it very hard for little kids to navigate. So one thing I like to do is put some organization, which is the topic. So this is Monday's work. And another topic. Tuesday's work. You can call them whatever you want. So here on Monday, except I want Tuesday after Monday. So all I have to do is click and drag it, and I can assign it to a day. So this was my shape day, and this was the random assignment day. So now I've got it nice and organized. So a student can come in here. They know I do this on Monday, I do this on Tuesday. If you had due dates, it automatically populates to their calendar. And inside your class drive folder, if you had an assignment that was, we called it practice 1 and practice 2, inside here, every student's work, when it sits, since I made a copy for each student, would be in here with their name on it. So that's how easy it is to navigate Google Classroom. So you're going to have a Google Classroom. That's one thing of blended learning. You can use the Google Classroom while you're inside the classroom live with your students there, so you can teach them how to navigate, and then at home. So where do I find resources to put on Google Classroom and try to teach and do everything else? One place you can find resources is going to our Google site, EuropeEast, or one of our Schoology sites, the EuropeEast Schoology site, or straight to the grade levels communities of practice. Inside the grade levels communities of practice, you're going to find the remote learning frameworks that have all the digital resources that are aligned to GoMath and the lessons that are aligned. So inside those, you'll have that. So why am I saying frameworks and why am I saying remote learning frameworks when I'm not remote? I'm in the classroom. And that's because we're going to blend what you would do remotely with the original frameworks. So in the original frameworks, our resources are like RTI, rich tasks, centers, activities, and games. And you'll see in the remote learning frameworks, we have a Khan Academy lesson, a magnitude of powers of 10, stop at 6 minutes. So we have different resources to use in a digital world as we do in a face-to-face world. In blended learning, we're going to take some of these resources that are here and place them into our Google Classroom. And that way, when our students are in our brick and mortar schools, they have an easy way to access some of those digital resources, and they're used to already accessing them. Some additional resources, those changes. In the original frameworks, we had the ELL guide, intervention, all of these activities. And inside the remote learning frameworks are all the deep links to like the animated math models, concept readers, the student unit sites, smartboard lessons. So these are just different resources for the same learning. They're going to learn the same standards. They have the same outcomes. It's just the amount of time in a remote learning is different. You might have less lessons, but we can still use those resources for this blended learning that we're rolling out this year. So I'm not spending a lot of time finding stuff. I have 2 places to go. So how do I get my students ready? I provide for practicing technology in whole groups or in small groups. I provide them opportunities to do Think Central, Google Docs, Jamboards, getting them on the technology continuously from the very beginning. Use your Google Classroom as a part of your daily routine. Even if it's just to ask a question for the day, they go in the Google Classroom and they answer the question of the day. That will also practice their writing skills. We can ask them a math talk question, or we can ask them just a generic fun question to kind of build some community. And then using a math journal, having the students organize their math thinking, creating sample anchor charts inside their math journal, writing the step-by-step directions. So they have all their notes and they know how to organize their thinking So if they have to leave you and you're doing remote learning, you can say, take out your math journals, let's write, and this is how we write, and you already know how to write in a math journal and what a math journal looks like. So those are some of the ways this blended learning is going to help your kids get ready in case we have to go remote. And it's great practice. Good luck.